All right, guys. Been a good week of preparation. Our guys kind of have a playoff kind of mindset towards this game. We know both teams feel like we've still got a lot to play for, and going to be very competitive, as is any game. In December in the NFC North, feel like where our team is at right now, they've got a great mindset towards what we need to go do to win football games. We've learned a lot of lessons this year on what that's going to take to win the football game, especially against a team that's playing some really good football right now. Just want to give you guys the injury updates if I can. Theo Jackson, Byron Murphy, Jalen Naylor, and Jaqueline Roy will all be ruled out for the game. We'll have Addison Blackman and Dye will be questionable, and then the remaining players on the injury report, Sheldon Day, Madison, Brian O'Neill, Ivan Pace, and Harrison Phillips will all go in with no designation.
What did Jordan end up getting to do this week?
Yeah, he kind of progressed as the week went along, and got a pretty good workload, albeit limited today. Not a normal full amount, but thought he moved around pretty well, and we'll see how he feels after the work, kind of see if we can continue that progression that he's made. He's made really great progress throughout the week, so we'll see if he can get there for Sunday.
Kevin, what's happening with Jalen? Is that something obviously pretty serious and not come back for this long with concussion?
Yeah, I think you guys know that's purely those head injuries are purely in the hands of the doctors and the different steps in the process of the protocol, and as he's kind of gotten through certain early phases of it, he's had some lingering symptoms with that, and we just want to be absolutely erring on the side of caution with any time our guys are kind of struggling to just kind of burst through those last couple phases in the return to play. So caution and hopeful at some point that we can have him back, but when that time's right, we'll make sure he's been medically cleared through that normal phase to do that.
Do you think Murphy would have a chance next week?
Yeah, I think, I know later, last couple of days he's kind of turned the corner a little bit. And I know as of right now, we're planning on giving him every opportunity to try to be available next week.
Is it too late for Marcus Davenport at this point?
Yeah, I think Marcus has been, trying like crazy to get to a place where we can open his window and allow him to do a little football and see if he could give it a go. The last update that I got, he was, attempting to try to start that conversation, and at that point just didn't feel right at that moment to do so. So we'll see. There's still, it obviously wasn't this week, but we'll see if we can possibly, where we're at next week and how he feels, if it would be something he'd be available for.
How much do you think them not having Jair kind of just changes the way they might approach this?
Yeah, I don't know how much it'll change for what they want to do defensively, especially going back through, our two games last year when we did have JJ, when we went up there and won. We didn't have him, and kind of had a feel to it of, how much of this is real as far as what we're going to see versus what we saw back then. But we have good inventory of really two games against them. And then you think about Jair not being in there. I think he's one of the top corners in football. He's proven that over a long period of time in this league. He's very competitive. I know him and Justin enjoy competing against each other. So, it's a significant loss. But they've kind of had, they've had to overcome some adversity injury-wise, like we have all season long. And I think it's just going to be about, both these teams finding a way to be the most prepared, being ready to roll, and then the energy in US Bank Stadium, getting everybody, who, regardless of who's available, who's in uniform, to go out there and play as good as we possibly can. I'm sure they feel the same way.
Kevin, with TJ out, do you see Johnny sliding into that role, or will Josh take on more?
Yeah, I think they're both going to take on bigger roles. It's just, down and distance, whether it's the early downs and we want to, have one guy in there for roles versus another. I think you'll see Johnny a little bit more on some of those third downs. That's been you guys have heard me talk about Johnny Mutt in the past, why we wanted to have him here, and just his role and value is he's really a jack of all trades kind of guy, and he's always taking reps right behind TJ when it's critical pass game things, and he's always ready to step in like he did last week against Detroit, and then Josh has been kind of in a huge role for us all season long, whether we're throwing it, running it, whatever it is. So I think the depth at that position, is something we're thankful for, especially in a critical late season game like this. But there's no doubt losing TJ, it affected us, last week in game, just knowing you didn't have that, secondary option to Justin. That's such an impact player, one of the best at his position in the league. So excited to watch those guys play, but it is unfortunate not to have TJ.